My name is Leah Stracner. I live in Tracy, California, but I do LuLaRoe with my cousin Mindy. We base everything out of her house in Stockton. I was at just a regular doctor's appointment and just your regular checkup. And I was like, oh, I feel something and on the left side, and she was like, I don't feel it, and I was only 35. She's like, so I'm gonna refer you anyways. So she referred me to, I was living in Vegas at the time, so she referred me to, they have a breast cancer clinic, and the nurse practitioner did a whole workup. I was sore after the next day, and she marked me all over. And then I went and did a mammogram, and I was so young, I didn't really know what was going on. And after that, they had me do an ultrasound, and then she pulled me into another room and said, there's not a real lump, but a dense area that we want to biopsy. So I had my biopsy on a Friday, and the same nurse called me on Monday, and I think I had snuck out of work early that day, so I was already driving home, and she was just like, are you sitting? And you're like, it's bad. So she said, cancer. I just started bawling because I'm 35. And she's like, it's okay. I'm gonna give you a number. We'll work this out. We got this. And so I called my husband. He wasn't answering his phone, of course. I called him 12 times in a row. And just so he panics because he's not good with anything and meets me at home. And then I have to tell my mom. It's the worst part. So I'm driving home and I call her. And at the end, I just hear her say, I can hear her crying and just say, I love you. And then the next day, they make it so fast. It's so fast how everything goes. And you just don't know what's going on. You just put your trust in everybody else. So they scheduled me with a surgeon, I think within 2 days. So I met with him, and because I was so young, they wanted me to do genetic testing. And it took a month, and it was all negative. So luckily. It was a small tumor on top, so I only had to do a lumpectomy, which I'm grateful for. But you're just so nervous because you still don't know anything. You don't know anything until they check those lymph nodes. And I think in between that too, I'd have MRI and whatever. There's so many appointments, you don't even know what's going on. But they took it out and it hadn't spread. So I was super thankful it hadn't spread yet. But I had triple positive, so it's more aggressive, fast moving. And then I also hadn't had kids yet. So my oncologist was like, if you're gonna want them, you need to go through IVF now. So everything got put on hold again. And I had to do all the treatments and the retrieval and all this other crap. And once that was done, they had me do the chemo. But at the same time, he let me have one last party. I got to go home for my best friend's wedding. And then he was like, then you need to come back and we need to tack this. So I had to do chemo every single week for 12 weeks. I had to go in on Thursdays, and they'd hook me up, and I'd sit there for 8 hours and just, I don't know, I was the youngest one in there. So I really just hung out with the nurses. They'd hang out and we'd talk and all that great stuff, and then I'd sleep. The longer it goes, the more tired you get. So I'd bring my blanket and I would just pass out for hours. And then once that 12 weeks was up, I still had to go. With triple positive, you have another medication called Herceptin, and that's for a whole year. So even after I was done, I still went back there every 3 weeks for a full year, getting through my port. As soon as I was done, I'm like, take the port out, I'm done, I'm not coming back here. And then you do your radiation. I think I had 15 treatments of radiation, and I would go on my lunch break from work because I never stopped working. So I would just go down the street, pop in, get zapped, go back, and just keep it rolling. And while this was finishing up, I had been doing other types of testing because I had some uterine stuff going on too. And our first vision that we came to 2 days before, I found out I had uterine cancer too. So just like boom, boom, boom. And I took everything out, and it was also early, so I was lucky. But so it's like an extended cancer story. That's basically my journey in a nutshell. I started wearing LuLaRoe during that time, just like leggings, leggings and Irma, what everybody gets. But it was funny because I would go to my treatments, and one of the nurses, she was wearing it too. So we would always talk about it, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to do it. I don't know. And so, but I would wear it all the time, and we'd talk about what I was wearing and what she had. And yeah, I'm a no excuses type of person. Like everybody on that we're on a team with LuLaRoe, they know, like, no excuses. Like, I'm going to call you out. There are no excuses. And that's how I like to live, with no excuses. Like, if you don't do something, it's because you don't want to do it, because you're not going to do it. So nothing really holds me back. I feel like now, like even with LuLaRoe, I'm going to do something I love that makes me happy, because you don't know what's going to push you back. And I think that's what really pushed me into, talking to Mindy and signing up. And I'm like, why not? Why not? So I just live my life like that. I'm going to do what I love and makes me happy. And that's why we're still doing it, because it's fun. One thing we've done while I was going through treatments, my best friend knew one of her good friends. He and his wife, and she has passed away from breast cancer, they'd started a charity called A Spoonful of Sugar. And she wrote a book, basically like something you could read to your kids. Like, mommy has cancer, kind of this is what's going on. And he sent me a check, and it was the only kind of donation I got. And I don't ask for help. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like I said, denial. And it was the one thing I got. So when we started LuLaRoe, I'm like, this is our one way, like, we can give back. So the first year we did it, I messaged him like out of the blue. I'm like, hey, you helped me. I want to help you. Can I do this fundraiser? And he's like, what do I have to do? I said, nothing. I'm like, make a video. I don't care. We're going to do all the work for you. So we were only maybe 5 or 6 months into selling. And I think we gave back, between the match, like $700. So I'm like, awesome. I've given back what I've been giving plus a little bit more. Like, I was super excited. He was thrilled, because it's a really small, like, local organization. He lives in Folsom, so, And then the next year we did it again. I was like, we need to do this again, Mike. Like, I want to keep giving back to you. So we had some of our friends do it too the following year. And I think we raised a little over $1,000. So it was even more. So now we're at like $1,700, and I like doing it with him because he's giving it right to the family. Like, whatever you need it for. Like, if it's your medical bills, your groceries, anything. And I feel like that's been good for us to like be able to give back in a way that I never would have been able to. Like, I can't just write a check back to him right now. And LuLaRoe's really helped us to do that, and makes us feel good. Our group loves it. And I think he's kind of like, he's so nervous too. We make him do his videos. Like, he's so scared, but it's like amazing. It's probably one of the best things we've done.